What's up, y'all? We got Miguel Jimenez in the house, and I've got some good news to share with you. This man has landed an 80K fully remote role in just 28 days. Now, Miguel is interesting because Miguel, you and I actually worked together earlier last year, and we helped you land your first job. Great company, great role, but there was a layoff. And this happens in tech sales, and it sucks. And you reached back out. You're like, hey, man, layoff happened. Where do I go from here? And we re-engaged. We picked right back up. And man, you came into the new year, guns a-blazing, 28 days, landed another great role with a really solid company. So thanks for being here, Miguel. I'm excited to talk to you.
Jack, absolutely. Thank you for all of this, the opportunity to share my story and yeah, being part of that leverage where you get to pour into me, like all your resources and just see that fruit. I know this is something you're passionate about. So I'm just so glad to be able to be a ripple effect and just share my story.
I love it, man. I love it. Okay. So for those of us that don't know you, what were you doing before tech sales was even on the radar? I think you're doing some like marketing, consulting stuff. Why was that not really the long-term path for you?
Yeah, I really love that question because that's how I frame how I got into sales is I really loved talking to small business owners. I worked with startups, helping them with the essentially roadmap of scaling a business. But when it came down to it, it's how am I going to land more clients? How is this going to help me grow my revenue? And I looked at the entire business funnel and I realized sales is really big reason on how any company goes from 1x to 2 to 10x. That's when I decided to focus on that career path. And it's been a very, very wild ride.
Yeah, 100%. And so was the main driver for you, was it like income or lifestyle that you wanted to change, or was it both?
It's got to be both. And Jack, you know this more so than anybody. I feel like once you get into sales, it's not like your professional journey stays growing and your personal development stays the same. It goes hand in hand. And I've been, yeah, I've just been able to grow personally, professionally. And hey, when that extra income comes in from a commission, that's really freaking exciting to know. I got to work hard, play hard, and reap those rewards that a lot of other industries or professions don't really have, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a role where you get to truly control your income based on the fact that you get out what you put in. And if you show up and you work harder than other people, you're going to get rewarded for that. You're going to get paid for that for sure. So for you coming in, I know you had some sales experience on your resume, like you and I workshopped that together. But what did you think the hardest, and this is going back a whole year, right? This is before we even got your first job. What was the hardest thing in your head about the transition, and how do you think we handled that together in the sword program?
Yeah, I would say I noticed that because I connected with some of the people you coach is everybody has different opportunities to step up and become better. On my end, I realized it was a mindset frame. And again, that falls in line with sales, right? How do you handle objections? Is how you say and what you say, all of that kind of funnels back into the mindset of things. And it's like, hey, am I going to look for companies that have a really good product and I know I can serve that team, or I'm not so sure about my skills, so I'm not even going to try. So that really mattered to me because it was really awesome. When we gave it the first run around, I went from, I think this might be a good fit. I think this company interests me to, man, this AI company is crazy. I want to work for them. I'm going to apply. I'm gonna give it my all and let's see what happens. I got to the final rounds. I remember I was so excited. Didn't work out, but it's like, oh wow, even if it didn't work out, that's a huge win because it leverages a lot of the stuff, the resources, what you teach. It just allowed me to see the roadmap more clearly and feel confident on that next step. And I
Yeah.
felt like it was a mindset thing.
I think a lot of people out there are like you who they've learned about tech sales, they wanna be in tech sales, but it's such like an ambiguous thing. It's like, what I don't really even know what this thing is. How is this gonna go? And what I'm hearing you say is, over time, as you took action and as you started to interview and have these experiences, you became more confident in who you were, the value you could provide to a business. And I think that's a big thing. It's like, well, I was never directly this role. Can I add value still? And it's helping you craft that story. And I mean, you got hired twice now. So yeah, you can 100%. And can we just mention, because you told me this right before we jumped on this call, you even got another offer for another job.
Yeah. And this just goes to like that hand in hand. Like, if you want to be in sales, it's so important to do the activity that is expected of you. And that's something that you, Jack, like start off, rip off the band aid. And it's like the first thing you say is you need to show that you are doing the job
Yeah.
and meet, rather not meet, but exceed those expectations they have for you, because to them, that's the baseline.
Mhm.
That's minimum. And that's where, coming back to this opportunity to have you help me out through feedback to making sure I was right on the right mindset of things. I know these opportunities are scarce, they're few. So you got to put it all on the table. And again, the job market can be tough. You can get an offer and have it be rescinded within the next day. You just don't know. So you always got to show up and play your cards because you never know.
Yep. And if you plant good seed like you did, you'll even get offers after landing a job, which is because you put in the hard work, Miguel. You never let your foot off the gas. I remember you told me like the job you ended up at that you're in now, you're like, yeah, I got the offer, but I'm still kind of playing things out over here just because you were that dedicated to the process. So shout out to you for that. Now, a big question I have is why sword? Because there are so many boot camps out there. There's so many people on LinkedIn. Hey, I'll help you break into tech sales. And they're kind of random people. We don't really know much about them. Why did you decide to partner with me at Sort?
Jack, it's been such a great opportunity to not just have you coach me, but get to meet you in person, or get more personable.
Yeah.
We've exchanged just like resources, deepening faith wise. And I think that's like one of the first messages I ever sent you. You share your story, how things weren't looking great for you, but Christ just came and saved you at the right moment in time. And you've committed your life just as he did to us. And that to me spoke volumes. And after that, just like diving deeper into the SWORD program, you laid out a very simple framework. It was just a quick video, but I understood, okay, he's a manager. I think it was a 44
Yep.
where you were at the time. So you have experience, you're in the game, you have a really good network. Let's see. So we had a quick disco call and it just made sense. Like, if I can't trust you in one way, I can trust you in this other way. But that wasn't the case. Like, I trusted you in all of the ways. So it checked
Mhm.
out everything to me. So I decided to take a leap of faith, as we all should. And it's been a great journey.
I'm honored, man. I'm honored to have grown with you over the past couple months. You said it's important to take that leap of faith. There's a lot of people I talk to that are still on the fence, right? They've met me. We've gone through how Sword can help them. What do you say to that person who's still on the fence?
Pray about it. First of all, there's a podcast, right? We talked about it, the deep end. I was just listening to it. And it's God is gonna open the doors. He's gonna nudge you where he'd like for you to be invited to, right? But that's just what it is. It's an invitation. And it's really important, like, hey, maybe sales is for you, tech sales is for you. And it's important to, know that this is a great opportunity, not just financially, but to be a better person. So if you're devoted to that, pray about it and just know that you'll be guided through the right journey with the right person.
Yeah. Yeah, I think God is not the author of confusion, right? And at the point you're on a call with someone learning about a transition into an industry after you've watched an hour-long video, it's like, all right, like you either feel like God's opening this door or he's not. And if he's not, you need to get off the call. You need to go obey him in whatever he's calling you to. But if the door is opening and you feel like this is interesting and the Lord is like, yeah, like it's going to take faith. You're going to Peter had to get off the boat to ever walk on water. He had to keep his
Yeah.
eyes on Jesus the whole time, but he had to get off the boat. And so God like, does not God doesn't go to the gym for us, for example, right? So you can't just sit at home and pray, God, I pray that I'll be healthy. It's like, dude, I gave you limbs, like go work out, right?
Yeah.
You got to put some work into it. What I love about what you're saying though is, Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So yeah, if you're seeking the Lord first, he's gonna lead you with his peace. All his paths lead to peace, is what the Bible says. So I love that, man. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, and to just add a note on that, go to the gym, like do that activity is the story that I really love is right. A fisherman or someone gets stuck out on the sea and he prays and prays to for God to come save him. And ship passes by. And he's like, no, I'm all right. God is going to save me. This happens a couple of times. He just keeps on praying and denies any offering to get help from any vessel. And once he passes away, he's in heaven. He's like, God, why didn't you save me? He's like, what are you talking about? I've had multiple tips go your way and you declined my offer. So, yeah, you got to see that opening and you have to physically take that action to step into it.
Yeah, 100%. No one's gonna change your life for you. Thank you. Thanks for walking us through that. Now working with me one-on-one, that's a lot of, like, one-on-one support. I know we've been on a lot of these meetings, right, going over interview practice, mindset, all of that. What was one of your favorite parts about my coaching style?
Yeah, I gotta say it's the just transparent honesty. And I mean those two words. Again, it goes back to if you really want to be in sales, you have to be honest. The numbers don't lie. So if you're expecting to land a job or like be at whatever org, because something I realize is every team does outbound differently. It could be a numbers game, it could be personalized strategic a little bit more. And all of that is all right because no customer is always just having that same funnel, but you have to just like, start off with that honesty. Like, are you willing to do this? Are you going to do this? And if you say you are, how committed are you to leveling up your game and maybe strategic outbound
Mm,
or really doing those numbers? Like, that's what matters is having that authentic, just transparent feedback because, hey, you might be not meeting that quota, right? But you really have to say, like, hey, is this really happening? And Jack, like, you're an anchor for that.
yeah, so you basically just, in a very nice and professional way, said I'm very blunt. So, I'll take that as a compliment for real, 'cause it's important. It's a lost art in today's society. Outside of you landing this job, right? A great company, again, 80K, remote, great team, great culture. You were just telling me about some of the benefits before we hit record. What are you most proud of accomplishing? Like, internally, what do you feel proud of accomplishing as we went through this process together?
Yeah, I love that question because I am part of a couple of church groups and I remember just sharing like why I'm part of those. And it's because I feel like when it comes to faith or just really trust in God is you taking a step when the fog is like minus an inch and you can't see where you're going. And I feel like throughout this journey, it's been like that, but you look back or like you just realize you've walked a long way. And there was a lot of uncertainty, but every single step, even though maybe you fell or like, you stepped on a puddle, like one, you're going to be all right. God provides. And then two, it's just like you did it and you got to take those wins. It's one, you woke up, you reached out to someone, hiring manager, take those wins because that's going to be your fuel to get you to that next phase of life. And once you get there, it's like you look back and it's like these small wins compounded into this amazing career journey, this amazing financial journey. This allowed me to be a better person in different ways. So it's that, I guess, compounding effect that I really appreciate the most.
I am so proud of the way you rebounded, 'cause I remember I was actually in an airport and I got the message from you about the layoffs and everything, and I was just like, "Dang, that sucks," 'cause you put in work to get that role, but, we prayed and you, right away, you were like, "Hey, I don't know really what's happening here, but I know God's got it," and for you to stay faithful in the middle of that, man, that was a testimony to me. I'm like, "Good, let's go. Miguel, you're calling me higher in my faith." So I'm extremely proud of you for jumping back on your feet, getting after it again. And for the people that are still out there on the job search, maybe they have encountered layoffs, maybe they've never even broken in yet. What's something you learned in the sword program specifically that if you think they knew about would actually help them on their job search?
Mhm. I would say one, like leverage the network within Sword. You know, that maybe there's people that are already part of the team. That's very huge. I do have to say, um, it's a little bit more about Jack, like the conversations you as a person have with people. Like you mentioned, sales and this journey of landing a job, a really good job for some people can be very ranges of like where they're at in life. And I think you take that into account. You are mindful of like their speed, but you ask more of them as you should in a great way. And I think that's really important because, yeah, layoffs happen. I'm going to reach out because I know that that's what like you want as a sales guy. Like you want to still go through that activity because you're always going to get objections. You're going to get a contract offer and get it like just disappear within the next hour. So that's something that I would say is that accountability and my cat's showing up.
Oh, hi, kitty cat. Yeah, man, you're so right. Network community is everything. So to that end, if you're out there and you're still trying to get into tech sales, we have a free school community you can join. There's a bunch of people in there looking for jobs, and there's a free guide that shows you how to go get a job. So if you're looking for that community, we've got it for you. You can just find it anywhere my name is. You'll see the free school guide. Miguel, dude, I am so proud of you. And hopefully, we do not find ourselves on one of these again, okay?
Way. It really doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, no, you've got an incredible home in this new company, 28 days, 80K, fully remote. I'm proud of you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jack. It's always a pleasure. And I know this is just one of the many conversations we'll have.
Yes, sir. Always here for you.
Let's go.
Awesome, man.